Yes, everyone. Late night edition of the Clem and Claw Show from the parts unknown. Really, the parts unknown. Anyways, y'all know the deal by now. I ain't got too much to say. Second and fourth Mondays, y'all know the deal. Usually 9:30 p.m., but today it's it's been
Usually.
interesting. A little bit, yeah. But anyways, we ain't talk too much. I don't expect this to be a very long show at all. Let's be serious, because there's really not much to talk about. Really, some news, but not really any news. But as y'all know, my partner in crime, Lost Web again, back again. We ain't saying much. What are you saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just man, it's just been a tough week. I know in the industry we want to first of all give our condolences to the families of both Terry Funk and the Rotunda family. One of Rotunda, also known as Bray Wyatt, the
Mm-hmm.
Fiend. Definitely hearing their news back to back, like
Mm-hmm.
it was like I grew up. I remember Terry Funk. Terry Funk, he was a guy that would go around to different promotions, and um, I didn't grow up watching them as much as I should have because I didn't have a lot of WWE stuff. But whenever he would come in and come through, like either Texas Wrestling or AWA or NWA or any other little promotion stuff, that's when we got to see a little bit of Terry Funk. But we knew he was hardcore matches. He was not one to be trifled with, the best with. He was that dude. Terry Funk was the guy that made you believe wrestling was real because of the bumps and all that. It's like you had bumps and then you had the Terry Funk bump. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's like it was a different it was different when Terry Funk did it. So yeah, so I would say Funk was definitely, it's like you have Funk and then you have everyone else when it comes to the level of physicality to the matches and things of that nature. And then in the case of Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, I would say his last 2 or 3 years, I really started catching on to the creative side of Bray Wyatt and how
Mm-hmm.
Vince and them just gave him that latitude to really be creative with the Wyatt family, and then all the different versions he had was the Wyatt family, the Fiend, with the Five, and then Bray Wyatt, the gym, the workout gym
Mm-hmm.
thing. And I know somebody made the analogy I saw on X. I know it's no longer called Twitter, but X.
It's X.
Oh,
Yeah, it's X
X,
officially.
yeah,
The
X,
way Elon Musk is going, X.
X. How they were saying how, like, if you look at what Bray Wyatt was doing, a lot of it was patterned after a lot like how Mick Foley. How Mick
Mm.
Foley had Mankind, he had Cactus Jack,
Do
and he had
love.
Dude Love. So they say if you let Mankind was the Fiend, Cactus Jack was Bray Wyatt,
Yep.
and then one
Do
with
love.
them doing the gym thing and doing the 5 Funhouse and all that. That's more
Yep.
Bray Wyatt, do loves, yeah. So it's like it's a little of each, but yeah. So I mean, kind of in that same vein,
I
kind of in
agree
that
with you.
same vein.
I agree with you, Bray Wyatt. Definitely the most unique individual, like you said, with his fireflies and his all his stuff. Very, as you said, creative. Well, I won't call him creative genius, but very creative, very
He is
innovative.
creative, yeah. And then, like
Again,
on one of the interviews, he was saying that how he said he would do stuff just because it have never been done, and that's true. Like a lot of the stuff he was doing, it had never been done in wrestling. And his
mm,
thing is like, well, why not? Why can we not do it? And we ain't talking about just jumping off of cages and building something.
mm,
That's happened. But as far as creatively putting together a match and putting together concepts
mm,
and stuff. I remember the Fiend thing at first when he first came out with it. Oh, let me in, and then with Alexa Bliss, we was like, we don't know if this gonna work, but
exactly.
it didn't take long. It didn't take long. It's almost like it's like his answer to the me Finn Balor's the Demon King.
Correct.
lack of a better term. Which I don't know if those two ever fought, but it would have been fun to see that. You
I
know, the
agree.
Fiend versus the Demon King. That
I
would have
agree.
been interesting to see that. But
I agree.
you know, what's your thoughts on either Funk or Wyatt?
I have to admit, I didn't know too much about Terry Funk. Bray Wyatt, like I said, very creative, very innovative. Like you said, concepts were very good. He played his characters very good. The Fiend, yeah, like you said, we didn't think it was going to work when he started. It started out. Period. We're not even talking about Alexa Bliss. When he started this whole thing, I didn't know if it was going to work. It turned out very good for him in all of his creations. Man, he was
Follow the
he was one
buttons.
of a kind. Man, people were emotional, man. That was it SmackDown or was it Raw where they had a 2 hour thing? It was mainly about him.
Right now,
I forget what it was. I think it was SmackDown
right now, yeah, SmackDown.
last week.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it because I was
I
working,
didn't see it either.
but I saw
But
like the little clips and stuff they did on social media on
it's
X.
just so it's just so sad because he's my age. He's around my age. He's like 36. I'm around 37. He basically is my age. It's just
Yeah, and,
sad.
and and that kind of put it in perspective for me because personally I thought he was older than that,
Me
just
too.
because of the look, maybe with the hair and all that. Just because of the look, I thought he was older than that. I thought Bray Wyatt was in his close to my age. I thought he was in his mid 40s.
I was
But
surprised when they say he was 36. I was shocked. I thought he
so
was
that
40 at least.
yeah, I thought he was older. I thought like how Batista, all them guys been in their 40s. I thought he was clearly in that. So that tells you how much because even at 36, like in this day and age, you got guys that like Eli Drake slash LA Knight slash whatever, getting his push at 40. You have
Mhm.
some guys that don't get their push on how Batista came in,
Mhm.
36, 38, getting in, it's just you got some of these guys, man. If everybody's not coming in like a Shawn Michaels, 23,
Exactly.
24, 25, and
Correct.
then literally wrestles for 20
Correct.
years,
Exactly. It don't work like
almost,
that.
yeah, but his body broke down, because it just it only
It
holds
did.
up so long. But
Correct.
I think with Bray Wyatt, the way he wrestled, and then plus his lineage, I think he would have been better prepared than most.
Hmm.
Um, um, just because, like Bray Wyatt wasn't jumping off cages and stuff like that. That wasn't Bray
No.
Wyatt. You see what I'm saying? So it was a
Yeah.
lot of power, a lot of strength, a lot of. It wasn't really a lot of tactical, even though his dad being Rotunda. But with him, like even like the sister Abigail, and like even some, it was just different. He was very flexible for his size.
Yes, he
And he
was.
wasn't a small guy either.
He
But I
was not.
mean, he looked small compared to everybody else because of the family. He got everybody. When you got Strowman and Luke Harper
Yeah. You're exactly right.
and Rowan, Eric Rowan,
Yep.
they make you look like a small guy.
Yeah. Like you said, and
Make
those
you
three
look
guys
like
are
an
super
easy,
mountain man. Those three guys are mountain man. You're right. They definitely made Brett
and
Rowan
they
stand
could move. They could move. That was the thing about the Wyatt family. If you know about any, all five of them, all four of them, 4 or 5 of them. I mean, they had the one where Daniel Bryan was in it for a minute, and then you had the one where Randy Orton was in it for a minute.
Yeah.
But as a group, they could move.
They could
They
move.
could move. If you really sit there, like I didn't care much for them as a Wyatt family. I always wanted them to lose. Of course, they're heels. But if you really sit back and look at the technical ability for a lot of these guys, you know, they can move. Like them literally running around the ring, they could move. They was large men that can move. They could move. And just like how Bray Wyatt, it's like with Luke Harper or Brody Lee. With Brody Lee and Kurt Rowan and even Braun Strowman to an extent. Would they have
Mhm.
been the characters they was without Bray Wyatt? I don't
Correct.
think so.
No, they were
I
not.
don't think, and I think for Bray, it's like, okay, I'm going to take these three guys that don't get used. They fit what I want to do, and we're together going to make it a point. It's kind of like some people was okay worrying about, oh well, should he get inducted into the Hall of Fame? Does he go in solo and then bring in the family? Do they bring in the family? Do they do both? I think he has a good enough career even though it was tragically cut short,
Correct.
just what he's done as a singles wrestler. is
Mm,
enough to garner induction. Now, whether you want to do it next year or whatever, I know for some people it'd be so fresh. Next year will be
yeah,
good, and then do the family later. Now, um, Strowman, I think he still got some work to do.
yeah.
Um, but Rowan to me wasn't enough of a character
I agree.
to, or a character development enough to be where, okay, well, because that was the thing that I kind of hated that people would count. It's almost kind of like the DJ Yella. Somebody's gonna be DJ Yella in every group. NWA.
Look,
People
that's
are like,
agree.
oh well, you could have got anybody to do that. And so that was the thing about Rowan. Some people say Rowan in and of his own is not gone in the Hall of Fame of anything. You know, but I think that with Rowan, if you put it as the group, I think some people, because some people were making a comparison to X Pac, but technically X Pac done got it twice. Once as a once as Degeneration X, and then I think he got another one as the NWO or something like that. Because X Pac done got inducted twice in the WWE Hall of Fame. I think
Oh
once
yeah.
as Degeneration X, and I
Yep.
think once as either NWO or the Wolfpack. One of them he got
Mm,
inducted in.
mm.
Now I like X Pac. I liked him when he was younger.
Me
And
too.
correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't he like the 1, 2, 3 kid, or
He
the
was the
Lightning
one two
kid,
three
or
kid.
one
Yes,
two
he
three
was the
kid?
1 2 3 kid.
But
Yes, he was.
the problem with his style as the 1, 2, 3 kid is because of how high flying it was. It wasn't going to last long.
Correct.
His body was just, and so as him becoming X Pac and how he changed up his style,
Yep.
the kind of, and again, he's the smallest of all of his, with Scott Hall, and I mean
Scott Hall,
everybody's gonna
Razor Ramon, Scott Hall, Big Kevin
Billy
Nash,
Gunn,
Billy
right?
Gunn,
I
Road
mean,
Dogg,
Road Dogg, Jesse James, yeah. So you gonna
and
look
of
small
course,
compared to
and
all.
of course Triple H, and of course Triple H is the Grandmaster of the Generation X. He and Shawn Michaels mainly. Actually, it was mainly was it Triple H who really brought up? I'm trying to remember who really started it,
Well, some people
or
talked
was it
about
both?
how the Generation X before Triple H and Shawn joined.
Okay.
Remember, the Generation X before Triple was Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws, Billy Gunn, Road Dogg,
Yep.
X Pac had joined in,
Yep.
and China.
Oh yeah,
Those
China.
four was Generation X.
Yep.
Then once Shawn and Triple H came in,
Do next
joined
level.
in, that's when it just really blew up. The thing that I kind of hated is what they did, like that small like year and a half, 2 year run when it was just Shawn and Hunter,
Yep.
where it was just them two.
Yep.
Um, I kind of hated that. It's like, what about the others? Because for me,
Exactly.
I was a tag team guy. So for me, it was the New Age Outlaws.
Yep.
They,
Yep.
they was my dudes, the New
I
Age
remember them.
Outlaws.
I remember them. Remember
I
them
knew
great.
that there was going to be mid Carters at best, but because it was like them being in the faction of Degeneration X elongated their career probably a lot longer than it would have been had it not been the Degeneration X.
Hmm.
They would have been they would have been done. I think they would have been carted off, you know, almost unceremoniously.
Hmm.
And while we're on the subject, I think another thing that's always been troubling, Edge and Christian never got a proper send off
I agree. I agree.
as a tag team. I think
As
a
a
lot
tag
of that
team.
has to do because of um, maybe the way Christian left or when he
Yeah.
left, and
Yeah.
now Edge with him, how he had like an end of a bookmark career.
Yep.
Edge and Christian, which that should be up for Hall of Fame. Like Edge and Christian, Captain Charisma. Now Christian to me has done enough. If we want to take the body of work of wrestling,
Yeah.
Christian to me have done enough in the body of work of wrestling.
Agree.
Whether you want to bring him into WWE and get into all that, that's a
Story.
whole nother thing, story. But I think at some point you can't have when you start inducting the next group of tag teams in,
Yep.
you cannot not have Edge and Christian. If you're going to have the Hardy Boys, if you're going to have the Dudley Boys, at some
Definitely.
point you got to have Edge and Christian.
Edge
because
and Christian
Edge
have
and
to be
Christian
there.
was synonymous. Those three pretty much ran the tag team division
They
for
did
a good,
20
and this was
years.
in a era where you had right to censor, you had of course G Generation, you had the New Age Outlaws, you had the
Yep,
APA, you
the
had Three
APA.
Men and Warning, you
Yep,
had the America's Greatest Tag Team with Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, you
that's it.
had um two man power trips and Ben Panther. Oh, you had the Brothers of Destruction.
The Brothers of
Um,
Destruction.
you had Kai and Tai.
Kai. I
You
forgot
had
about Kai and Tai.
dude, you had like I said, I think I said right to censor. I think
Yes, you
I've
did
always
say
said
that. You said
right
that.
to censor. So
Yes, you
you
have.
had so
Many
many
attack
good
teams.
tag teams during that era that when you had the Hardys, the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and then that
Yep,
last one was always kind of, whether it was Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho had a
yep,
tag team for a minute,
yep.
or even Latino Heat with Eddie
Latino Heat.
Guerrero and Eddie and Chavo Guerrero.
Chopper Girl.
Guerrero, I can never
Girl.
get the
Girl.
Guerrero. I'm
You want some Latino
um
Heat? Oh,
yeah,
you bringing me
yeah,
back, man. You bringing me back.
yeah.
Carry on.
Um Now, by that same token, Eddie Hall of Famer, yes, without a doubt. Latino Heat hasn't, no. To me, Latino Heat didn't do enough as a
I
tag
agree.
team.
Yeah, Eddie
But
Guerrero as a Hall of
but,
Famer.
but
Yes.
Edge and Christian, yes, Edge and
Yes.
Christian should have been it.
Yeah.
Edge and Christian should be in. Um,
I agree
I
with
feel
you when
like
you say Christian. I agree with you
oh,
when
the
you said yes.
Bushwhackers. I don't know if the
Oh yeah.
Bushwhackers were still around.
They were not around then. But
No,
they
no.
definitely should be
This
in
was
the Hall
after
of
the
Fame.
Bushwhack. But you know what? But the WWE always seem to have that. Whether it's the Bushwhackers, the Viking Raiders, they always have somebody kind of like Um,
Exactly.
it look like it's something out of Capital One. The old school Capital One commercials. Yeah, they look like they
Yes.
just took a group from that. Um, which the tonight's I was watching uh, Raw over here, but tonight's where the Viking Raiders fought New Day. The Viking Raiders, like they are really good, but I think because of their gimmick, people just
Mm.
kind of like, oh, okay, they're there. Um, oh, you had what was the tag team with John Morrison and all them was
Oh,
TNT, Eminem,
Eminem.
yeah, Eminem or
Yeah,
something like that.
something like that.
I can't
Oh,
remember.
it was John Morrison and the Miz. I remember now. Was
No,
it? No.
before John Morrison and Miz,
Oh, okay.
it was
I
John
think.
Morrison because they had Melina was the girl.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot,
And they
but
had them
yes.
crosses on the
Yeah, yeah.
pants. And then
I got
John Morrison and the Miz teamed up later. And when the Miz
you. That's
first
true.
got in.
That's true.
But that was towards the end of that run with the Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, because Miz kept getting his head beat in. They always kept getting beat. Because like I said, that fourth tag team was always kind of rotated, whoever was there. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm missing somebody else um, during that time period. I'm sure if
I
you
think
in the
I'm trying to
chat
think.
was somebody.
We have like
uh,
two chats. I guess it's me and you.
yeah,
Because
but no,
yeah,
I'm
just me
just
and you.
saying
Cool.
somebody.
Anybody in the chat, if you have anything, remind us. We definitely know the Dudley brothers,
Yeah,
definitely
Hollywood.
Hard Boys, and definitely Christian Edge. Those
Oh,
three by themselves was definitely
oh. You had the Hollies. You had
yes.
the Hollies. You had Crash. You had
Yep,
Hardcore Holly, Molly
yep.
Holly. You had also you had Job Squad with
Yep.
Al Snow and all
Al
them.
Snow. Oh,
Um,
Al Snow. Oh my gosh. Talk about
um,
underrated wrestler.
yeah. So you like I said, that was a so Edge and Christian. You had some great tag teams. That was I call it as much as I love the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express
Mm,
as tag teams. It couldn't touch that era as tag
no.
from the standpoint of how deep the tag teams was.
Mm,
The deep the tag team division was. It just like I said, I could rattle off 9, 10 tag teams that you just had to bring it. I mean, then you had the one-offs like the Rock. Well, I call them one-offs every so often, like the Rock and Sock Connection. You
that Rocket
know,
Sock
it,
connection.
So I mean, it's just
Rock Johnson.
like when I
Dwayne
look at
Rock Johnson.
RKO Bro reminds me of the Rock and Sock connection.
That was the weirdest combination ever. The Rock and Mick Foley. Oh my God.
Yeah, the Rock and Sock
Sock
connection.
connection.
Yeah, so yeah,
Oy.
so all right,
Oh
but we
my
didn't talk
God.
long enough about WWE. We didn't talk good 20
Hey,
minutes, but yeah.
hey, it deserves.
But I
Hey, it
mean, it was
deserves it.
special because
It
it was
deserves its own
deserved
thing. It deserves its
because
own thing. Has to.
could you talk about Bray Wyatt um, and Terry Funk. Now I didn't know Terry Funk was married to Terry Runnels, um,
I didn't either.
but Terry and Terry,
Makes
Uh,
sense.
let me ask you this: if you looked at the WWE divas, and I kind of thought about this the other day,
Go ahead.
which of the divas that's out there now, or if they're in another federation or whatever, do you think if they would have been a cat fighter would have been a hellish cat fighter? I may put that out as a poll question on my Twitter
Oh, I love that one. I got
because
to
it
think about
literally
that one.
probably
I'm thinking about quite a few. I'm thinking about Terry Wilson. I'm thinking about Stacy Keebler.
Tori Wilson,
Uh,
Stacy Keebler. I don't know because all she got the legs and that's it. Yeah, that would
yeah.
have been a good advantage, but to me, she didn't have enough of.
Oh, I'm not
Um,
done yet. I got a few more. I'm just giving
I
you a
think
test.
Trish
I got more.
Stratus would have been
Yes.
like the
Yes.
Sarah Brooke
Broke.
because they
Yeah.
have that same kind of persona,
Yeah.
like I know I'm the top dog and I'm good at it, kind of thing. Um, yeah, that's
I'm
what
thinking
they.
of another one. Another one that comes to my head is Lita. Definitely Lita. That's another one with her
You
high
think
flying
leader,
Lita.
but see, you don't
Possibly.
need all that in catfighting. You don't need all that.
Then I'm trying to think. I'm just
You don't need
I'm
all that.
so I'm trying to think. Well,
I
who
mean,
else
if I'm
is
going
on
old
here?
school, I'm gonna say Miss Jacqueline. I think would have been good.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Definitely Miss Jacqueline.
um, I would say Sasha Banks would have been definitely Reagan.
Sasha Banks.
Um,
Yes. I wonder if
Reagan.
Charlotte Flair would work in such a thing.
Um,
That's a
Charlotte
question for
Flair would
me.
have been a lot like Carrie Spectrum.
Yes, agree. I
I
agree.
think Charlotte Flair could work like that, like Carrie.
Definitely.
Uh, well, then I'm going to say Tilly has to be just because they both Irish. Tilly has to be the man. It has to be Becky Lynch. Becky shows up and fight every day.
Who Becky Lynch is who you? Oh yes, yeah. It makes sense for Becky Lynch to be like Tilly. They both Irish. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
both Irish. So, um, and
What would Bianca Belair be at when it comes to this?
I'm going
You're
to
not
say
the only
Lana
one. I'm thinking too.
Luxor.
I think so.
Lana
I
Luxor
think
because
so.
Lana has that charm. She's black. She's unapologetically black and lets you know.
True.
Um,
True.
I won't say Lana Luxor because now you think about it, I mean, it's like for a lot of them, they could. Um, now the Bailey, I just don't know who Bailey would be.
I don't know who Bailey would be
Um,
either.
I just with her persona, any one of the personas, either the tree hugging Bailey or um a Asaka. How you say it? Asaka.
Oh, you talk about Osaka? I forgot her name. I know you're
Asaka.
talking about. She's Japan. I know you're talking about. I can't say her name. I
I'm
know
gonna
exactly what you're talking
say
about. Oh,
Kim
Oscar.
Chi,
Oscar.
Oscar.
Oscar. That's another
I
one.
think
Oscar.
Kim Chi would be more Io Sky
Yep.
than Oscar.
Correct. I agree with you there.
I think she's more, and especially with her being this Mrs. Money in the Bank, you're getting to see more of her personality come out.
Hmm.
I think she's more Io Sky. Um, I'm going to say now when I look at, I don't know if they ever feuded, but Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan,
Hmm.
both I thought was the same girl
Hmm.
until Liv won her championship. And then I really got to see Liv as her own person. You know,
Ah,
that kind of helped catapult Liv. Because Liv to
mhm.
me, she's, yeah, and with Alexa Bliss, Bliss was
Mhm.
good, but I just,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was like, I just don't like her, but I like Liv Morgan more. It just, but they
yeah.
really two peas of the same pod. So
I agree.
I don't know if that would be more like a. 'Cause when I think of AJ Lee, that definitely would be somebody like a Emma Ray. That's
Uh,
definitely Emma Ray.
Definitely, definitely.
Um, I don't know who like Liv or Alexa Bliss would be, but Laura Croft. I mean not Laura. Laura would be if she's such a hard body. Um,
I'm trying to think.
Lita would be is from a skill set of athleticism.
Hmm.
Because I'm trying to think who was my and like really that athletic.
I,
Um,
I would say the only person that comes to my head is Santana.
Santana
Maybe
Garrett.
no, not that one. You said Catfight. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking the lines.
Oh,
I'm trying to make a comparison. This is not a very good comparison, but I'm trying to draw lines
um,
because in the Catfight game we don't got many athletic women, right? Let's be
like
serious.
Laura. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Not like that. Laura looks like an athlete that just happened to quit catfight. Like she could go off and do other stuff, but
Mm,
she just happened to okay, I like catfight. All right, you're good at it. That's what I'm trying to think. A girl who happened to be a WWE wrestler, but she could have been anything else she wanted to be.
I'm
For
the
lack of,
comparison I'm making. Wait, the comparison I'm making is Laura to Brooke Gilly. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to make the comparison. I don't know.
I'm thinking of one of several people. I'm thinking either now Natalia would definitely be Valor. That's Valor. That they
Yeah,
them two
yeah.
tough cookies. Um, when I look at a see Carmella, no, because she's a
No.
Jersey girl. Um, I'm trying to think. It should not be this difficult.
Is there any? Oh,
Um,
I'm gonna ask this question. Is there anybody that compares to Sexy Wife? Just throwing it out there. I know she's retired, but let me just throw it out there. And do we have anybody that
m-
compares to
the
Lyric? Both
most,
of
the
them.
most I can do, and this would have been like really early in her career because when she came out like a lightning in the bottle. Molly Holly,
Yep. Yep.
Molly Holly was that. Um, I just yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Molly Holly.
I I'm going to keep when I keep coming back to Lana, and again, this doesn't fit body wise, but I
It
think her
doesn't.
attitude and her it would be she would be a cross between Victoria and Ivory. It just
Oh,
she's
I
just
forgot about
wrong.
Ivory. I forgot about Ivory.
You know
I'm
what
not
I'm
gonna.
saying? Somebody that yeah, it just yeah.
That's a good. That's a good comparison. I completely forgot about Ivory. Original diva right
I'm
there.
just trying. I'm trying to think. Lana, I wish I had some. Like even if you wanted to compare her to what was the name of Rusev's wife, Lana.
Lana.
Yeah, it just still her when she finally got in the ring, her ring skills that just didn't
It didn't
wasn't
fit.
as yeah. So ring skills just wasn't as good. But
All right.
on to news.
Wanted.
Any
Yes. Go ahead.
any
Go right
old
ahead.
news or new news or
Uh.
not necessarily the news?
I guess if you're a fan of Sweet Fights, there was a vid pic that came out yesterday.
Uh,
I included the return of Bella Gypsy. For people who don't know, Bella Gypsy has had like two fights. I mean, lately she's had two fights, months apart. But you get the point. The one where she fought against what's her name? I forgot the first one. Her
Did she
latest
fight
role.
Ivy Sherwood? She fought Ivy
Yep.
Sherwood.
She fought Ivy Sherwood about 3 years ago, came back and fought someone else, and then fought Stephanie, and then just recently, I think it was it last Saturday? Last Saturday, uh, she had a fight against a newcomer. Well, not newcomer in cat fighting, but not a newcomer in the terms of the women wrestling world, Nadia White.
Okay.
So, uh, he pretty much said it was a short fight. So for people, I ain't gonna say too much. All we're gonna say, according to him, he said it was 10 minutes. They both said the same. Nadia even did the what you call it. She pretty much retweeted it. Let's see what happens. It's supposed to come out in September. We don't know if it's gonna be the beginning of September, the middle of September, towards the end. It's September. Other than that, not really much to talk about. Like Klaus, what I said in the past, man, this is the part where we right in the middle. We're pretty much getting towards the end, where things are slowly,
Yeah,
as you say,
when
things are
school
slow.
starts when
School has
school
started.
starts back up, and for all
School has
our
started.
ladies who are mothers, they trying to get the
Yep.
kids, get them back to school. I noticed that availability usually changes. Like instead of where it's, hey, I can stash the kids to the grandma's house for 2 or 3 weeks, or I'm gonna have this open because my kid is with the baby daddy or significant
Hmm.
other, or they're away for camp or something, they can sneak out. This is where you might only can get them either during the week if they're local, during the week while the kids are at school, or on the weekends when you can still kind of schedule some kind of out. Yeah, this is where we're about to get back into the tough season. Um, is this usually there's a lull between now and then you get, I mean, really once you get past the holidays, you can almost hang it up. But you got some girls, they just don't want to do any work. They'll work 10 months, and then once they get to that Thanksgiving to Christmas,
Nope.
they're like, look, I'm gonna shut down. It's cold. It's cold and people don't want to travel, and
Understandable. Hmm.
you know. And if
Hmm.
you've done well, maybe you do some Christmas bonus stuff, but
Sure.
maybe with your special clients, special customers,
Sure.
they might do something year round. But outside of that, hey, time to go. Time to shut it down, and then after New Year's, you know, you start back up. But yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yep. Yep. That's like we said. There's not much. Keep your eyes peeled, people. Right now, there's not, as he said, there's really not much to be seen or heard. Of course, there's probably people setting up things, etc., etc. As we say,
Oh
watch
yeah,
the space. Watch the space,
oh
man.
yeah,
Maybe in two
yeah. Watch
weeks,
this
we'll
thing.
come back in 2 weeks' time. There might be something else. There might be a few
I
things.
wouldn't be
We hope and pray.
surprised if what is this? This August 28th. I wouldn't be surprised because the next show is September 11th.
Correct.
I
And you know what?
definitely
You know what September 11th is, right?
anniversary of 9/11. With 01, it'll be the 22nd anniversary. Yeah, so
Is
of
it? Yeah,
another
22nd.
solemn day in our history. Also August, yeah. Um, this would be a thing of I think, but I wouldn't be surprised if come that day we hear the announcement of at least 2 or 3 fights that
I
get
agree.
rumbling. Because I think if you can get some stuff set up, because right now there's a big dead space, seems like in the
Very.
business industry, basically September. Because I don't know of a single fight coming out in September, October, or November. November is a little early, but I think even if you're
It
going
is
to
early.
do something in November or early November, if you can get it out in September and get the word out, I think that would be helpful and just give folks
I
time.
agree.
So
But
we'll
like
see.
you said, you're exactly right. There is definitely a big void, as you put it.
Mm.
Really is.
Also, shout out to Bob Barker. I know he passed away at 99. He
Yep.
would have been 100 in December if he had made it to December.
Wow. For
So
people who don't know
yeah,
who Bob Barker is, I don't know if you've been living under a rock. This is the host of one of the best American shows, in my opinion. The Price is Right.
yeah.
We all know him. You know what the funny part is? Him and Alex Trebek. It's kind of crazy that these two guys
Yeah,
died
another.
almost about within the what 3 years? Extra bet of
Yeah,
Jeopardy, a
Alan
great
Trebek
Jeopardy.
was the spring chicken of the two, because he died at like what 84. Yeah, he
Correct.
was only like 84, and Bob had another 15 years on him. So, um, but I definitely, spray and spay and neuter your animals. That's what
Spray
Bob
new
was
your
always
animal.
doing. Yep, that's the thing. He said,
Love
if I
it.
don't get known for nothing else but that, he said, I've done my job on this earth.
Yep.
So,
And then, as everybody knows, I guess Past Jack finally said, finally retired off of Wheel of Fortune. Remember that one? Oh, that's another show.
oh, did he finally retire?
I heard something. I heard about a few years ago, a few months ago. I don't know when his last show is, but I know he said he's going to retire. They're
Hmm.
gonna it's gonna be hard for them to find a replacement for Past Jack. That man has been there for years.
I don't think it'll be hard to find people. It's just, can you find someone that the public's going to like for that long?
Correct.
Because you had some people, like even though Bob gave his blessing about Drew Carey taking
Yep.
over for that dude, there was a stretch, in the beginning, like the first 3 4 years, people was just like, it's Bob, 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 Bob. It's like Drew Carey's just holding the spot. I would argue Wayne Brady doing Let's Make a Deal was a better host than Drew Carey, and that's saying a lot. But I think they've kind of gotten that. I know college football is starting up this week. Well, technically this past
Already
weekend,
has.
and the NFL will have started up by the time we do the next show.
Yeah,
Um,
college football. There's some big games coming up. I know we're supposed to be like a catfight show, but let's be serious. There's no catfighting thing, so we have time to talk about the
um,
big game, the big game
I
this week.
think I think the NFL, my Saints will go 12-5, and they'll mess around and lose in the first round to somebody who made in 12-5. I think the Saints will be 12-5 and be a 2 seed, and
I
then
got
they'll
them 11
mess
and
around,
6.
and then they'll mess around. Will play the 7th seed, and then there'll be like Minnesota or somebody that just made it into the playoffs barely, and they'll mess around and lose that. It'd be like a Minnesota or Washington or the Giants or
Mhm.
Detroit. It'd be somebody like that, and they'll mess around, get in there, lose at home because it's like we've been playing. Dude, we play. The Saints have 9 games against first year starting quarterbacks, first year
Wow,
rookies or first year starters. Come on,
wow, it's a lot of
come on,
games. That's half your schedule. It's mad.
right? So I mean, when you looking at Jordan Love, you get him early in the year, first
Yep,
year starting quarterback. You got in your division, you got Desmond Ritter is going
Bryce
to be a
Young.
first year starting quarterback.
Yep,
You got
Bryce Young,
Chase
rookie.
Bryce Young, who is a um, rookie. I mean, you got the other baby for Tampa. You got because
Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trask, if he had won the job, he would have been another first year starter. But they're going with
Hmm.
Baker Mayfield, and I
Yep,
think Baker Mayfield got about 4 or 5 weeks, and if he's stinking up the joint, I think they're going to
he
switch
gone.
over to Trask.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, so with that, excuse me. So I
Yeah, I
think
got your
that
Saints.
that
Yeah,
one,
I got your Saints
and
going 11 and
then
6. I actually got them.
and
I got them
then
being
and
a
then
three
think
seed.
about, we play the AFC South, which means we get C.J. Stroud, another rookie, Anthony Richardson, another rookie.
Another rookie,
Yeah, dude, we don't play the Eagles, we don't play your beloved Cowboys, we don't play the 49ers. Who are
which
we
is a blessing.
playing? You see what I'm saying? It's like if the Saints can't go 12-5 with a Dennis Allen and an unproven Derek Carr in the playoffs. If you
Mm.
can't go 12-5 with this group and this schedule, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, I got 11 and 6 for your. I got 11 and 6 for you guys. I got y'all third seed. My Cowboys, I got us 12 and 5, but Philadelphia will win the division. That's why we're going to be the fifth seed like we were last year. Because Philadelphia's schedule, their schedule is not hard at all. Their schedule is not hard until they play Kansas City on Monday night. That's their first difficult game. I was looking at their schedule. I'm like, The NFL, you made their schedule easy in the beginning.
Now,
Then
what
they
did
got
you
to play my Cowboys. Go ahead.
now, what do you think of the Trey Lance trade?
Me personally, I like it. Me personally, I like it. What they're trying, what they're pretty much telling Dak Prescott, step your game up, my guy. We gave you that contract, time to deliver. We gave you that we gave you that 5-year contract extension. Deliver. No
Now,
excuses. Deliver
this is my thing about the
or be gone.
that Prescott contract is you basically stuck on there this year, next year.
Yeah,
This year, if everything falls apart, they're gonna blame the coach, and then Dan
correct,
Quinn will get a chance to start and put
correct.
his stamp and imprint on it. My
Facts.
thing is, if you're the Cowboys, also in them 2 years, Trey Lance's contract will be up. Whether they have to
Yep.
make the decision whether to keep him for the 5th year, which I don't think he's gonna be worth 5th year money, unless something
Mm-mm.
happens to that and he becomes your starter earlier and
Uh-huh.
he shows himself and proves himself to be like, look, he's worthy of starting, and Dak doesn't get his job back, a la Tony.
Yep.
What happened to Romo?
Yep.
Because by this point, I think in the Dak is in the same state of his career as Romo was, but without the injuries. From the
Correct.
standpoint, we kind of understand what you are. Stephen A. Smith made a great take on First Take this morning when he said that Prescott is the quarterback who had the most wins
And still no Super Bowls.
and still have not even gotten the division championship game
Championship game.
and minimum 75 starts.
Jeez.
So we
Wow.
know what he is and we know what
Exactly.
he's not. So it's
Exactly.
like, is he good enough to win you a championship? We're going to see. If not, sometimes you got to light a fire under the dudes, but I get it. Because Cooper Rush isn't enough to threaten. We've seen that happen.
No,
Yeah. But
you're exactly right.
Trey Lance, as of right now, would be.
Yes. And you know what? Dak Prescott needs someone to light fire behind his behind because he's been too comfortable for me as a quarterback. Right? He can do so many things and not get benched because, like you said, Cooper Rush, as he's good in his backup role, but the key word is he's a backup. There's a reason why he's not starting. He said it. So
It could, Denver. Yeah. So we'll see how
we'll
with
see.
Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to the college game. LSU versus Florida State is going to be a fantastic football game on Sunday. Wow. What a game that's going to be. I know we got several Louisiana people in the building. I know you're one of them. I don't know. You're one of them. I know Reagan. I know our girl Reagan is definitely a Who That Nation. So definitely a New Orleans LSU thing. So that is going to be a fantastic game. Boise State's playing Washington, so that's good. North Carolina, South Carolina, and Charlotte. That's going to be a good. Most of these games are like Saturday, Sunday. Some good week one games, man. Not bad. Next week, you know which one it is next week. Texas at Alabama next week.
Mm.
We
All
find
right.
out. We find out Texas if you're for real or not. We find out. Why I'm saying this because next year they've been the SEC. We're gonna see Alabama in a lot in our conference. I'm talking about my
Yeah.
Sooners too. The same. We're gonna see them a lot. So that is gonna be one of them. I think that's it, man. I don't think we got anything else to do
Yep.
unless you want to talk about boxing, which was someone got robbed in one of these boxing things. Someone got robbed of a title. I know that. I ain't gonna say too much there. And then
Yep.
what's his name? Mr. Sterling got beat by Mr. O'Malley. Got he got what's that saying? He got knocked. He got the what knocked out. He got completely knocked out in the second round. So we have a new champion there.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, we're wrapping up, people. It's been 45 minutes. How did we get 45 minutes out of this today? But
I
anyways,
don't know.
45 minutes.
And we have.
Anybody got any questions? Anybody around? Or is it just me and you? Okay. Interesting.
So I am Closewell at Twitter on Twitter and IG.
Clem underscore Akufo on IG and Clem Akufo on Twitter. As the man said, the next show is going to be a special show. Salute to the soldiers.
November.
I'm saying this now before we even get to that, because we're gonna be doing a lot of that on that day.
Right.
Salute to the people. Prayers again to the families who lost their lives on that day. It's not just New York. People tend to forget it's not just New York. It's also Washington D.C. also. So
And
in the
Shanksville.
Pentagon too, and yes, Pennsylvania too. Them
Mm-hmm.
also. So with that being said, we it's late. We about to wrap. For my guy Claus Webb, myself Clem Kufo until September 11th. Peace.
Peace.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.